All right, Chicago Bulls retired Derrick Rose's number one jersey, and it was awesome. It was a really awesome moment in the United Center. That's where they play, right? The United Center. Anyway, though, it was an awesome moment for Derrick Rose and his family. His son is on the sideline with his mom, and his son is kind of crying and getting emotional. Derrick Rose's son is only 6 years old. I can't remember being 6 years old, but I wonder if he kind of knew what was going on, or if he was just getting emotional because his family was kind of getting emotional. But his son kind of shed some tears. It was really cool. Derrick Rose shared emotion with his son while he was on the microphone. And it'll be cool for his son when he's grown up to kind of look back and watch this video footage. But it was an awesome night for D Rose. His number one jersey gets retired. He is the fifth player in Bulls history to have his jersey retired. It's him, Jerry Sloan, Bob Love. Bob Love is a bit before my time, but I've heard the name, and I think he's big in Bulls legacy. But then Micheal Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Again, I don't really know who Bob Love is, but Jerry Sloan, Jordan, Pippen, D Rose. So pretty much just a bunch of legends. And then D Rose, if you consider D Rose a legend. But the Bulls, they also have banners for Phil Jackson and general manager Jerry Krause. Derrick Rose says the journey was never about me. It was about creating the synergy that somehow people from the city can pull from. Somehow I was that beacon or that vessel from hooping. Derrick Rose, I think it was like less than a 2% chance that the Bulls get the number one pick. And of course, Derrick Rose is the hometown kid. He gets drafted to Chicago. I don't know if the league is rigged or if the draft is rigged, but it's kind of weird when that happened with D Rose. There was the one with LeBron getting drafted to Cleveland. He's the hometown kid. Seems like when there's hometown kids and it's a good story, the NBA kind of make sure they go to their hometown when they get drafted. But anyway, it was an awesome night for D Rose. Moving on to Derrick Rose's stats. I'm wondering how we're gonna look back on his NBA career. I'm gonna look back fondly of D Rose. I always loved watching D Rose. He was one of the most entertaining players in the NBA. I've heard people say his play style was just too violent and too quick. He made insane cuts. He had an insane vertical. He just attacked the rim recklessly, and people would say, that play style doesn't lend itself to longevity. I would agree for the most part, but freaking Russell Westbrook made it work. LeBron James made it work. So possibly if Derrick Rose just came in the league today and he tore his ACL, then maybe with modern medicine, he maybe could have bounced back better and kept his career going. But it was back in 2011-12 when he did get the ACL tear. So 2000, yeah, this is 11-12 right here. So 2010-11, Derrick Rose was averaging 25 points, 8 assists, 1 steal. What were his splits? He was 45% from the field. Never was a three-point shooter. He was 33% from three. But Derrick Rose was just an animal. If y'all remember prime Derrick Rose, I liked him even better than Russell Westbrook. They were pretty close. They were kind of similar players. But Derrick Rose, if y'all remember, if you didn't get to watch Derrick Rose, it's probably hard to believe it, but I think he was even more athletic than Westbrook. I think he was faster in the open court. He had a better ball handle, in my opinion. I don't think that's so debatable. Derrick Rose had a great handle as well. And I'm wondering if he's going to be in Hall of Fame talks. I honestly don't think he will be with his accolades, unfortunately, but if he would have stayed healthy, he would definitely be in those conversations. I know that was accolades somewhere around here, but he was a three-time All-Star. He did win the MVP award. I think he made All-NBA one time, but just don't think he had enough health and longevity to make the Hall of Fame. But we'll see if you get an MVP award. I'm not sure how many MVPs didn't make the Hall of Fame, but we'll see what happens with D Rose. I personally don't think he had enough longevity to make the Hall of Fame, but we'll see what happened. People act like it was just the ACL tear. This 11-12 season, he tore his ACL halfway through the season. Tore the ACL, comes back from the ACL, comes back 13-14. He had lost some athleticism, of course, but then he tears his meniscus in 13-14, comes back for 14-15. Just spraining his ankles and just getting all these kind of nicky-knack injuries. He was never himself after the ACL, then especially after the meniscus tear. So people just remember the ACL. That's kind of what they bring up, but it wasn't like he just had one injury with the ACL. It was the ACL, tore his meniscus the very following season, and then just was never able to stay healthy again, unfortunately. But in his prime season, again, that was 2010-11. This was the season he won the MVP. It was 25 points and 8 assists. yes, LeBron was probably 27 points and 7 rebounds and 7 assists. And LeBron should have won the MVP, should have won it probably 7 years in a row if we really just gave it to the best player every year. But storylines do play a part in the MVP voting, whether we'd like to admit it or not. But, again, people bring up Derrick Rose's play style, just too violent, too athletic, too twitchy, too lend itself to having a long healthy career. But I partially agree. But again, LeBron James was able to do it. LeBron is a freak of nature, but Russell Westbrook was able to do it. Those are two guys that play a similar style to D Rose, just really twitchy, really athletic, just downhill. I don't know if you consider LeBron's style reckless. Younger LeBron was kind of just reckless, driving downhill, didn't care who was in his way at the rim, would just jump out of his shoes and dunk on people. Russell Westbrook was the same way. So, it's just unfortunate, thinking back on Derrick Rose. I don't like to look back on his career as a disappointing thing. I'm sure he doesn't look back on his career and think it was disappointing. It was just a blessing for him to get in the NBA, and we just appreciate the time we were able to watch him play. Again, if he came in the NBA today, maybe with modern medicine, he's able to better recover from the ACL, the meniscus tear, and keep playing at a high level because, like I said again, Westbrook was able to do it, LeBron was able to do it, but, a lot of times when players get those debilitating, is that the word I'm looking for? Those injuries in ACL followed by a torn meniscus the very next season. It's hard to ever get back to what you used to be. But shout out to Derrick Rose, gets his jersey retired from the Chicago Bulls as he rightfully should. Just an amazing player. When people look back at Derrick Rose's numbers, 15, 20 years from now, whatever it is, you're going to see all these years, 16, 17, 17, 18, and then you're going to see this one, 21 points and 8 assists. You probably say that's pretty good. Then you see the 25-point and 8 assist season, and people are probably going to look back that didn't get to watch him play and say, hey, that was an outlier season. He just had one kind of banger of a really good season, and then he was just a decent to good player for most of his career. That's what people are going to say, probably looking back at the numbers. So as I get older, I kind of see the generation argument and see what people say when people look back at some player from the 80s or 90s that I may not know about, and they'll say, hey, this guy was cold, this guy was so good. Maybe like a Penny Hardaway. I didn't get to watch a bunch of Penny Hardaway, but I know he was very good. If you look back at his numbers, it probably doesn't justify how good he actually was. So unless you got a chance to see prime Derrick Rose, you're just never gonna really be able to appreciate what he was able to do. But please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you think about Derrick Rose getting his jersey retired. I think we all agree he definitely deserves to get the jersey retired. Let me know what y'all think about his possible Hall of Fame argument and just what you think about his career in general. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.